your cerebrum. Your cerebrum is just the whole outside of your brain. So all this gray matter, that's cerebrum. So you have your cerebral hemispheres. And then this is your baby brain, so it's your cerebellum. So movement, like fixing posture and movement, say I pick up a glass that's not as heavy as I thought, that correction that happens, so I don't spill water on myself. This right here is your cerebrum. So within the diencephalon, that's just the region that these three things are housed in. So you can see them in here. Do you mind turning that so I can show you all both at the same time? Try to orient them the same. Cool. So this is your thalamus right here. On the real brain, this is your thalamus, your big brain. This is your corpus callosum. It's a white, this big white C, CC, corpus callosum, if that helps. You can see it here as well. And then from your thalamus, you can find your hypothalamus is below, so hypotypically means below. Hypothalamus, thalamus, and then your epithalamus is up here, it's above your thalamus, so epi is above. And this is your pineal gland right here, it's housed in your epithalamus. And that's what secretes melatonin that helps you sleep at night. Next you have your brainstem. So your brainstem right here goes right here, so you have your midbrain is right here. You can also tell, I'll show you a little bud I was showing you. This is also your midbrain, where these buds are. And then you can also see this is your midbrain too. And this bulging part right here is your pons, and then medulla oblongata. So you can see your pons right here on this brain as well. And then you have your four major lobes, which are the same as the cranial bones that we talked about. So you have your frontal lobe, parietal, if you turn inside, temporal, and then back here is your occiput. Yeah, so not the cerebellum, but yeah, the back of the brain. And then you have your ventricles. So your ventricles are where the cerebrospinal fluid is produced inside of the brain, swirls through, and then it goes out. So your brain is suspended in fluid right now. That's why our brain isn't super heavy. So the ventricles, you can't, I'm not going to point them out on here because you can't really see. Well, this is the lateral ventricle right here. The lateral ventricle is around the corpus callosum. It makes like little, like ram horns, kind of. You can see them right there. Glad you have that page open, that's super helpful. And then the third ventricle goes around the thalamus. So if you find the thalamus, you can find the third ventricle. And then it goes through the cerebral aqueduct into the fourth ventricle, which is right here. It's like a little, I picture it's like a little canal that you have water traveling through. Yeah. And then the rest are, so your brain has three coverings on it you have to know. One of them, the outer covering is your dura mater. So dura is the really durable one. It's this thick white covering. Ideally it's around all the brain, but we see some here. So if I have this pinned, this is the dura mater. And then, where was I? Then you have your pia mater is the really thin layer. So if I go in here and pull this up, you'll see that like that thin layer I'm pulling up, that's your pia mater. Your arachnoid space is in between your arachnoid, right? You have your longitudinal fissure. Your gyri are going to be these valleys, so these parts poofing up in your cerebellum. The valleys, the things sulking down, that's your sulci, are the hills. Sorry, I get hills and valleys mixed up. Hills go up, Amanda. Valleys go down. So gyri are the hills that go up. Just follow my hand, don't follow my words. And sulci, like you sulk when you're sad, you sulk down in the valleys. So these are the sulci. The poofy hills are the gyri. Cerebral cortex is just all this gray matter out here. And corpus callosum I already showed y'all. Inside of the cerebellum, you have the tree of life. So this is your arbor vitae. And it's made of white matter. And your optic chiasma, if you'll just close that brain for me, like put it back together, I can show you the optic chiasma.
You have two hands. Sorry, I know you're touching that on the page.
So we flip it over for me. So this is X right here, that's your optic chiasma. So your eyeballs are up here, so that nerve, the optic nerve, travels down and crosses in there, and it goes into the brain to its respective places. If you open it up one more time, show you the last part. Your choroid plexus is this little red thing right here. You also have some in here, it's not shown. That's what produces cerebral spinal fluid. So that's a good question I like to ask.
Oh, what's that called?
Your choroid plexus.